Hi there everyone, how you doing? Jeff C here. It is Monday, November the 3rd, and I have some new breaking footage information with regards to this particular photo, one of our smoking guns with the Ottawa shooting hoax. We, of course, broke this. Max Resistance, many others have been working on it. System Exposure and Pat Jack are two of our top researchers dealing with shadows and timing, have broken down the time of this photo using the location and all the angles and the shadows of the poles to determine that this photo was indeed taken before 9:30 a.m. Of course, most of us who've been following this story know that the actual shooting took place around 9:50 a.m., so that a good 20 minutes later, which meant that these cars were indeed in place in advance before the event occurred. The person who first put up this information feared for their life. This was the post that was since stricken from the internet. I'm going to see if I can fit it all in here and just read it to those of you who haven't seen it before. I'm a legislative assistant. Here is the view outside my office at 9:30 a.m., about 15 minutes before the crazed gunman. A shit ton of cops hanging out by the West Block for no reason. I know two things they aren't telling the press public. Hopefully you dipshits will take this serious because my career is on the line. And he went to mention that a car bomb went off in Nepean and knocked out a main transmitter, killing power to the city's west end. It's true, that's been verified, not so much a car bomb, but that the power did shut down to the city's west end. Police used jammers to disrupt all cell phones in the downtown area during the lockdown. Why does this matter? Why the fuck are the police, not just the RCMP, have the capacity to do this? This was just a test. Brace yourself. If you see that a legislative assistant died, had an accident, commit suicide, whatever, I'd like to say for the record that I've never wanted to kill myself. I take my job seriously, but I ask honest questions. Wednesdays there are events hosted at the Parliament and security is slack. There was no need for all the police at the Parliament this morning, pre-shooting incident. Nobody, Prime Minister and opposition leaders excluded, of great significance was scheduled for today. Further, blowing up the West End's transmitter should just make people angry, not dependent on the government. I feel like if we do not stand up right now, we will be baited into losing everything because of ISIS. All right, and one last fun fact. Yesterday, the House debated two things: Ebola in West Africa, and even way more importantly, terrorist attack in Canada. Okay, so this post was a big deal. This was released I believe it was the early afternoon after the event had occurred, and this was the photo. And of course, the photo is here, of course. The skeptics saying, well, how do you know that's the morning? And then, of course, they're saying, well, how do you know that it wasn't after the event had taken place? One thing that you'll notice here is that there's very few people. There's a guy walking around. There's nothing going on, right? There's not a whole bunch of people. There aren't construction guys looking all around. There's nothing, nobody moving around, just some cops standing there. This is a setup, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vehicles that you can see in this picture. This is extremely significant, Canada. We're going to prove it to you that this photo was taken at around 9:24 a.m., certainly before the shooting happened, and therefore the police were already in place. And what that means is that this whole thing was staged, Canada. I hope you're paying attention, and I hope you share this video. As unsettling as it might be to you, this is extremely important. So the footage that I've come across is CBC playing games with their footage. They actually have 3 different cameras, 3 different videos playing at the same time, and they cut out and they come on and they cut out and they come on, and they're playing, the audio's playing in the background for 3 different videos at the same time. They do this so that people like myself have a very hard time breaking down everything that's being said, everything that's being talked about. And so, therefore, it's a method of trickery. But I'm going to get around this. I'm going to show you in this video that these cop cars were indeed there. The Ottawa police cars and the RCMP cars. This is something that Justin Bryant was able to notice right away. Why were there Ottawa City Police cars up on the Parliament? They have no jurisdiction there. They have no business there. Now, of course, if the event was ongoing, then you could say, well, they came to join in and offer support. But of course, as you can see, there's a few people standing around, nothing going on, a guy walking down the street, no sirens going. This is a setup, folks. We have the proof now. So I'm going to show you the CBC video that shows the people being evacuated and running down here past the construction of the West Block and heading directly towards these cop cars that, of course, were already in place. This is absolutely massive. I ask you to share this with everyone you know. Thank you so much.
Make sure to adjust the tool to the right place, date and time, and check DST, which accounts for the daylight saving time. As I did some mistakes here in the last videos, be careful. First, we draw a line which is the prolongation of the shadow of the street sign on the right side indicated in black, and we draw an additional line from the left street sign to the street lamp of the first video indicated in red. We then measure the distance of the red line in pixel, which is 82.3. Then we measure the distance from the intersection of the black line with the red line to the street lamp, which is 18. Computing the ratio between 18 and 82.3 gives 0.219, rounded to the third decimal place. This we will use to project the distance onto our map picture. Now we switch over to our tool and set our shadow marker at the position of the street sign as indicated by the red arrow in the upper right. We then draw a red line from the left street sign to the street lamp, which measures 379. Multiplying this with the ratio gives 83. Starting from the street lamp, we can draw a line with the same length. This line we can extend to the intersection between the 10 AM shadow prolongation and the sidewalk on the upper right. This line measures 130.5. As a last step, we extend the line to the intersection of the 9 AM shadow with the sidewalk, which measures 220.2. Now we can compute the difference between 220.2 and 130.5, divide this by 220.2 and multiply it by 60 minutes, which gives 20.4 minutes. Therefore, we can assume that the picture was taken around 9:24. Although the computation is sensitive to the marker position in the tool provided, someone will come up with a value between 9:20 and 9:30. Prove it yourself. Many thanks to Pat Jag and others who used different methods to show that the picture indeed was taken around the time claimed by the original poster.
Et puis j'ai redonné un coup de feu, donc il a dit. Non, il s'est pas arrêté, il est sorti en vitesse, il a armé son fusil, puis il est rentré.
Pour mes collègues du réseau anglais, pouvez-vous m'expliquer ce qui s'est passé?
Well, I saw the car going very fast. Behind I saw RCMP cars. It was a young man with long hair.
Jeff C. here. What I'm doing here is I'm taking a video from CBC. CBC is trying to be very clever and to keep people from, like me, from breaking down what they're doing. They put 3 different video things going at the same time, so you hear the audio from all different ones, and it switches, and all of a sudden one will cut off and one will come on. This is all trickery in order to keep us from being able to see what they're up to. So I'll do my best to break it down. You're going to hear the chiming of the clock. It'll chime 10 times to signify that it is 10 a.m.
He ran right away because he saw the police car behind, so he ran right away inside the parliament. That's all.
I mean, you didn't suspect anything, I guess.
I was coming to work. So, you know,
This guy is most likely a crisis actor. And you see him being interviewed by several people.
And then I realized that the guy, when he had a long gun, something was going to happen.
Est-ce que je peux avoir votre nom, s'il vous plaît?
Alain Merisier. Oui, je suis serveur au restaurant des parlementaires.
So they're pushing the cameraman back towards the west block here. So I've shrunken down to one window. You will still hear the other. There are the cars. There they are, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like we saw in the photo. You'll see them again in a second too, folks. Now they've got their sirens on. As you see, they're pushing them back. That's the west block that's being renovated. And there you go. Now you see 5 cars, so one of them has moved at this point, but they were 6 there before. Now it's slowed it down, and it's going to zoom in, and you're going to clearly see here the Ottawa police cars. To 2 Ottawa police cars. Next to them were the RCMP. Now you can see people running.
Welcome back, Maurice.
And people coming through here. Looks like some politicians.
Who's going up the front?
Now we're getting a view of the wagon here, or the SUV police cruiser that was in the lead. Here's a copper going for his vest. And there you get another view of the cop cars that were perfectly positioned like they were in the photos. And the French-Canadian crisis actor who's being interviewed by everyone. And that's how it works, right? There are the cars. So there you have it, folks. We can clearly see in the photo that these police cars are not active. There's no sirens going. People are just standing around. There's nobody exiting the building. There's nothing going on. This photo proves, amongst many other things that we've dug up, but this is absolute smoking gun evidence that they were in place beforehand. Okay? Because we can clearly see, and we saw this vehicle up there as well. All these vehicles were already in place, Canadians. You have to understand this. This is a staged drill, and they are going to take away your rights. They are staging these drills. There's no way they should get away with it. You should be outraged at what they have done. We have more than enough proof to sink this government and to send this into Saturn, as press likes to say. This is case closed, folks. We have an official hoax. Please send this video to everyone you know. Share it everywhere you can, all social media. Thank you so much for listening.